What's up, guys? Nick Camerata here, founder of 27 Properties, which is a direct-to-seller wholesaling company here in Tampa Bay, and also the founder of the One Call Away community, which is a supportive and collaborative mentorship program and community for Florida wholesalers, people that are either new to the business completely or they've done a couple of deals and are trying to make it a more consistent thing and turn it into a business. I just actually wrapped up an awesome podcast episode with Nate Hoelscher, who was actually my very first official coaching client. He was the first member of the One Call Away community, and he has a really, really cool story. He went from making $40,000 last year after quitting his job to over $250,000 this year and still counting. We're going to talk about the mindset shifts that he had to go through, some of the different changes that he had to make in his business and his processes to be able to have a 6X increase from year to year. So he's got a really relatable story. I think that there's a lot of people out there that are going to get a lot of value from this. So if you're somebody who has you're either looking for your first deal or you've done a couple of deals, but you're kind of struggling to find that consistency, this episode is for you, and I think you're going to get a ton of value out of it. So hope you guys enjoy the first episode of HUD Up or Shut Up.
Nate Hoelscher, welcome on, man.
What's up, bro?
Happy to have you here. So
Cool.
let's take this back. We're in November right now, which is about a year ago was kind of where we got started together. So I'll let you kind of give a quick intro about who you are and you just give me a background.
Yeah, so we met September 2024. My backstory, I was working, so I graduated USF 2022 in the summer, and I was working at a medical device place, which actually is pretty similar business model to wholesale. We'd buy implants and then sell them to other facilities in the U.S., which I really liked. I love talking to people. Like, that's my thing. Got to be on the phone a lot there. I loved that. Just wasn't I didn't have a lot of fulfillment there. I loved the people. I still rave about the people. I got to work with a lot of my friends. Long story short, left. I heard about wholesaling online, like most people do, and figured, let me try quitting my job. The long story is I got a house hack first, and that allowed me to have super low monthly expenses, if you will,
right?
Which allowed me to just try something while I was young.
Take a little bit more risk.
Yeah. So that first year, I remember quitting my job the last day of February, and then March 1st or whatever it was, woke up, had no idea what to do. For the first couple months, I was on Deal Machine, calling low interest rates because sub 2 is still, it still is big, but my algorithms were just sub 2. So I was just calling low interest rates all the time. Not on a dialer. I would hand dial low interest rates on Deal Machine, just to kind of see where that would go. And I did a handful of deals, handful being 4 total, for a total of 40 grand or 42 or something like that. And I think it was right about, we met September at your meetup, and I think it was a creative finance meetup, and I was calling sub 2 all the time, so I was like, oh, this is perfect. And we didn't talk business at all. I think we just talked golf for
I remember you coming up after, because it was a night that I was actually on a panel, and I remember you coming up after and talking about golf and taking my number, talking about let's get out and play some golf together. And then we just got on the golf course after that. But there wasn't any business talk at the beginning. Yeah, no business talk. And I'm pretty sure you've said it now. You could definitely tell this guy's not doing business. This dude's out here. We can laugh about it now, but I was super broke, spending Tuesday mornings golfing with you and Jason, which had a really good ROI when you look back on it. Hey, that goes to show that getting yourself in the right rooms can pay off. Oh yeah, but I remember we started golfing sometime probably September, October. Probably September, October, we started golfing, and I was just I call it the 18 Birdies Mastermind. There you go. Yeah. Just picking your brain and stuff. And I remember you talking about calling, get a VA. So at the time I was trying calling out. I hired a VA. And I think we were at Landsbrook Golf Club in the parking lot. I don't know if it was you or Jason, and you were just I don't want to do the whole guru thing. And as I'm pulling up, you guys start talking about the whole coaching thing. And you were I don't want to be a guru. And Jason was go be the guru that debunks gurus kind of thing. And I kind of take a little bit of credit humbly for pushing you to dude, I need help. Coach me. Yeah. Obviously I hang out with you. It's not you're
trying to like money grab. Like it was like, yo, Nick, like I need help, bro. Like help me out. And so I think November, you probably made the decision that like you were gonna like start this. And then I remember, I think it's like the week of Thanksgiving, I was like, bro, where are the videos? Bro, where are the videos? Like I'm ready to roll. Take my money. And then I think you released them like November 30th.
It was the weekend
1st.
of Thanksgiving. Yeah, I remember because just like you said, and by the way, Jason, the guy that he keeps referring to, is actually the owner of the title company that we close our deals at. He's a really good golf buddy, Albatross Title, best title company in Florida. Shout out Jason and the ladies over there, Heather and Courtney. You guys are amazing. But yes, that's exactly right. And I tell people that, you know, you were kind of the one that finally gave me the push to be like, all right, the demand is here, I got to make it. So yeah, I got to make a product for it. So during the month of November, I started making all those videos. And then, yeah, you were like, dude, where are the videos at? Like, when can I access it? And as soon as I made it available, you were in. So
yeah. And I remember, I forget, because like December was really weird because I closed a deal in October for a whopping $5,000. And then my last closing before that was in July, and we had like a nice 10K deal, which like back then I was like, that was big money. Because like I didn't have any overhead. It was just me. So 10K like used to last a while on the business revenue side. But then I think November 1st was when I officially was like member 1 of OCA, which the support calls on Tuesday rocked because it was just us.
Because it was just us.
I got all my questions answered right quick. It was awesome. It was just a huddle every week for about like 6 weeks. But then I think I closed a deal that I already had under contract from things that you taught me. On my first cold call deal that I used Ready Mode, prop stream lists. I think I was still doing prop stream data. Closed for 10K in St. Augustine. I think December 10th or something like that. And then like right after that, switched to Mojo Dialer, like implemented everything that you said. I think I grabbed another VA. And then immediately got like 2 or 3 more contracts in December, which I would probably call that the turning point, if you will.
That was just going to be my question, was what was like the biggest frustrations that you had before we met and before you joined the community, and like what was the turning point that made you realize like I need some help here?
Turning point. I mean, I always knew that like what I was doing wasn't working. I was throwing everything in the wall trying to see what stuck. And like the 4 deals I did in 2024, none of them looked the same, which obviously different now. I feel like I can look at every deal now and be like, yeah, it was almost like the same thing that happened over again. Biggest frustration, like the inconsistencies suck because you have a month, like we had 1 month in July where we made like 10 or 15 and then like nothing for 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Because like, I know now it's the lead flow. Like it's entirely all lead flow is the whole problem. Like I was bad at, okay, I'm going to sit down. Like my team, like they know that they can sit down for 8 hours a day, every one of them, and they're going to find leads for us.
Right.
I, as an American, am not great at sitting down for 8 hours and finding consistent lead flow. So I guess to answer that question, lead flow, biggest problem.
Yeah.
Frustration was just not knowing like, the algorithm of social media tells you that you have so many directions that you can go in for wholesaling, real estate. I mean, there's so many things under real estate that you can do. But having like a sense of direction, the one thing, you know, Gary Keller, I think I read that book in December too. The one thing by Gary Keller, part of your reading list. That's when it like, okay, we're going, you know, full steam ahead in one direction was when I fixed that headache.
Yep. That's good. I mean, and it also goes to show like haphazard action is better than no action, right? Like you were still able to get 40 grand, which a lot of people, they'd call that a good year, right? Especially in your first year. So haphazard action is better than no action. But obviously once you pair that with a plan and a vision and actually a roadmap, it can definitely blow up after there. So
absolutely.
Okay, cool. So then the next question I had for you was, what did you start doing differently that you learned once you joined the community that like you implemented it and immediately were like, oh yeah, this is different?
I would say, and I still talk to a lot of our community members about this, is like the blueprint. Like the culture is a lot better of just like start blindly doing the blueprint, because we still have people that like came in and they were like, okay, like I'm going to do this, but then I'm going to tweak this a little bit. Maybe I'm going to get my data here, or no, I'm going to use this dialer. I remember like thank God that when I got in, I literally blindly plagiarized everything, like the whole blueprint, where you got the data from, the phone numbers, like Vumber number, like everybody that got in didn't want to use Vumber number, they wanted to use the Mojo number or something different. Like I just didn't even think about it. I just blindly followed the blueprint, which made it super easy to diagnose problems. I could compare my KPIs to your KPIs. We had the exact same dashboard, all of that. Super easy. And so I even have this conversation with people too, is like in school, we're taught that plagiarism is bad. In business, you're taught that plagiarism is good.
It's
like
good.
find somebody that is doing what you want to do,
copy and paste.
Just do the exact same thing that they're doing, and don't even go brain dumb. Like don't even think about it.
Yep, I love that. Yeah, you follow a system that works, and you don't try to overthink it or reinvent the wheel. It's a simple business. We complicate things, and like you said, you mentioned earlier that when you're on social media, it's like they make it seem. Your algorithm makes it seem like there's so many different things that you have to do to get a deal, or you need like this AI powered CRM, or you need this script, or you need all of this sort of stuff, and there really isn't any secret except volume. Get on the phone and talk with as many people as possible. And I mean, we obviously in the community, we have SOPs and we have systems to make sure that the calls you're making are the highest quality of calls and you're talking to the right kind of people. That's where the skip tracing, that's where the knowing what kind of product you're looking for and what kind of seller you're looking for comes in handy. But at the end of the day, it's talking to people. You talk to people and you get deals. So,
bingo.
Yeah, it's a very simple business. People just try to overcomplicate it. So, yeah, I like that you said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even I'll you're gonna ask another question. I'll cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Even I need to frequently go back to that statement of like we overcomplicate it. Like when I go through it, like for example, July and June were slower seasons for me, and I remember like trying to like tweak things, but like what gets you out of the rut is that consistency of like doing. Like not overcomplicating it. It's the same business. Talk to sellers, qualify, disqualify.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, my next question was going to be if you could pinpoint what one mindset shift that you had that like allowed you to have the success that you're having, but it sounds like that might be it. Just realizing.
Yeah, I would go back to the one thing, Gary Keller, that mindset of conversations per day. How many like my KPIs of how many people did we call? How many conversations did we had and how many leads came through? And out of how many leads, how many of those are quality leads? Can you repeat the question again?
Well, I was asking if you could pinpoint one mindset shift or one mindset change that allowed you to go from being somebody that was just kind of like
that's what it is,
throwing spaghetti at the wall versus like having a system and processes.
It was putting the blinds up. Cold calling is my main thing. I am not looking at another marketing channel. Like at some point I'll unpack that box, but right now it's still just cold calling. Like I'm not looking at anything else. Like the tunnel vision. I think you said it, like you naturally have tunnel vision. I naturally don't have tunnel vision. Like I'm the what's the saying? Like the
shiny object syndrome.
I have shiny object syndrome. And a lot of people who come in have that exact same thing. I think
most
like
entrepreneurs do.
Because you're very ambitious. Like you're go. Like a lot of us are. But switching it to, okay, I'm going to focus on how many no's I get a day. What's my contact rate? How fast am I burning through data? Like, I'm just going to become a wizard at cold calling direct to seller through Mojo with batch data, like the exact same blueprint.
Right.
Like,
because if you do that system and you do it every day, it's going to work. It's just a matter of when, not if.
Exactly, yeah. And like if you wanted to get into the turning point, like if I talk about December more, December to me was like my turning point from I had like $7,500 left in my checking account, like to my name in December, and I gave $4,000 to you and was like, bro, like help. Like I know if I just implement what you're doing, I'll be just fine because I just I saw it for free. You told me in the golf cart how to do it, and then I saw it happen, and I was like, okay, like yeah, boom. I basically turned the deal that you taught me outside of the community into the initiation fee for the community, essentially.
Perfect.
But that like December, like lining up those contracts that we closed, I think $19K in January. That was like my I have money in my account now. I'm not going to go broke. Like I was getting ready to start applying to be a cart barn guy at golf courses, because I could probably golf for free and then I'd get paid.
Not a bad job.
But then I think after that, like I think the deal that made it click for me entirely was like, okay, those deals in January, whether it was closings January that got me out of the rut, like got me into the green. We did a deal. I think I called you about it too. I made an offer. I think the seller came in.
Actually, hold on. Before we talk about this, do you have the HUD?
I do have the HUD.
This is HUD Up
I
or
do
Shut
have
Up.
the HUD.
Okay, we got the HUD.
Yeah,
All right,
this
cool.
is not fake news.
Okay, cool. We got the HUD. So we
got the HUD.
We got receipts to show.
Where'd it
All
go? Where'd it go?
Proceed. We got the HUD somewhere. I got the folder down here.
Okay, sweet. So soft talk about the deal. I think our seller came in December or something like that, and she pretty much told us like, hey, I don't want to sell to the beginning of the year. We never even talked price. I confirmed that the house needed work. She said it had a new roof. But she's out of state. I think she lived in Indiana. Her name's Ann Wahab. Ann, if you're watching this, she was super sweet. I think she works at a medical facility over there. And her father passed away, and it was his house. They owned it for quite some time. And I really just built a relationship with Ann. Like I got to know Ann. Ann got to know me. And I remember giving her a ballpark where I'd probably be, and it sounded like she was open to having a conversation around there. Reran numbers 2-3 months later, it ended up needing to be like 10K under that ballpark. And I sent her an email. I was like, hey, Ann, like the highest we can be is like 181,500, which I thought was going to be kind of tight. Anyways, and then I remember I sent the offer out, and I took a nap on my couch, and I woke up to, hey, I want to accept this. What are the next steps? I remember calling you, and I was like, dude, like, holy cow, like this is crazy. Because like those other deals, like they made sense, and like they moved the needle as far as like me not going broke. Yeah. But that was the deal where it was like, oh my gosh, we just did it again. Yeah. For like a healthy JV fee for both of us.
That's when you realize like this is something I can do every month.
Oh yeah. And I love talking to people. Like that was my old job. I almost do the exact same thing day to day now, except I work for myself. But that I remember calling you, and I was like, dude, I'm floating right now. Like this is crazy. Yeah. And that's when like the snowball effect started taking place. So I think that deal was like the snowball. Like we got block 1 in there. Yeah. And then like if you're stacking the blocks is when that deal was like the next block of
that's when it started
of the exponential growth.
Yeah, I love it, man. That's awesome. Yeah, that's where it went from being a I don't want to say faith to fact because you'd already done it, but it was like this is where you realize, hey, I can do this every month forever. Like I just got to keep doing this system, and I know the results will come. So
bingo.
All right, cool, awesome. Well, let's talk about like what allowed you to get consistency, like metric wise, right? So obviously a lot of the things that we talk about in the community, it's measuring. You have to measure something if you want to get better at it, right? Or if you want to find success in it. If you're just out taking a bunch of action, that's great. It's better than doing nothing. But to like build it into a business that can sustain you and employees and many people, you have to measure things. So can you talk about kind of like some of the systems that you have in your business now and like what metrics you're tracking?
Yeah. So I know we're really big on the community is like pulling up our Mojo dashboard. I could argue that...
Which, by the way, Mojo is the dialer that we use. That's the system that we use to make cold calls to homeowners.
Bingo. And if we could pop, boom, Mojo dashboard right there. Yeah. Like that, you can run your entire cold calling business off that single dashboard. I'm not really sure... You'll need some other stuff once you get going, tracking hot leads, warm leads, that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, your Mojo dashboard, in my opinion, is your entire business. Yeah. I know that if my team is calling if I have one member of our team calling for 8 hours a day and they have a 3.5 to 4% contact rate, I know they're going to talk to probably 50 to 80 people. And from those 50 to 80 people, roughly 30 to 40 of those people we talk to, one of them is going to be a lead. They're going to be a raw lead. And then from there, I know, okay, I need about 1 or 2 or 2 or 3 of those to make a quality opportunity. That is a homeowner with a story. They have an ugly house and they have a reason they want to sell it. Not that they want a free appraisal, but they say, hey, I want to sell my house and I am comfortable selling it at a discount because I want to press the easy button. I want speed and convenience. Right. That's basic top-down metrics would be like I can at this point I can go, okay, if I make this many calls I can do this many deals. Yeah. Because if I go from the top down,
you can reverse engineer it.
Exactly. And I wouldn't be able to do that. Like the Mojo dashboard is so helpful because I can at a glance. I don't have to like a lot of people. you have to like calculate it. You got to get your spreadsheet out. You got to grab your numbers from everywhere. Like we can do it very quickly.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly right. And you mentioned like that you can basically reverse engineer your business that way. And that's what I love about cold calling, because I've used a lot of other inbound marketing channels, and some of them worked, some of them didn't. Some of them worked for a while and then kind of fell off. But I've never found a business, or I've never found a marketing channel that is so like predictable, where I know that every X amount of dials we're going to get roughly, and this is generally speaking, of course, right? Like some weeks are different than others, but if you average it out over the course of a year, we got to talk to X amount of people to get X amount of interested people. And out of those interested people, you have a X amount of actually like serious qualified leads, like you said, a story in an ugly house. And that's something that we always touch on in the program, in the community, is what is a lead, right? And that's what a lot of people have as one of the biggest issues, is they're talking to a bunch of homeowners and they don't even know what a real lead is. And a lead in our world is somebody that has a house that needs work and they have a story, right? There's a problem, there's something there. They don't just want, like you said, a free appraisal. They don't just want to know what their house is worth, or if I did decide to sell it, like how we go into, Kelly Blue Book just to like look up what our car is worth, even though we have no interest in actually selling it. A lot of people spend a lot of time talking to those kind of sellers, where if you have a systematized system where you can actually say, okay, everybody that comes into our system is a qualified like lead, somebody that actually wants to sell their home and has a problem behind it, then again, you can work this all back and say, okay, we make this amount of calls, we get this amount of leads. Out of this amount of leads, we get this many actual qualified leads. And then out of this many qualified leads, we get one deal or two deals. And then you can, again, you just reverse engineer it. If you want to do more deals, you got to talk to more people.
Bingo.
And that's pretty much it. And you also mentioned that you could basically run Mojo, or you could run your entire business off of Mojo. That's exactly what I did until I started bringing on employees. Yeah. And that's what we have a lot of people in the community doing that are just getting started out and don't want, to spend a bunch of money. I tell people, because everybody wants to have a CRM, the fancy stuff, and it's like none of that matters until you're doing deals. Go talk to sellers. And Mojo is so simple that it allows you to just block out everything else and get on the phone with sellers.
Yeah. And I had that problem a little bit too with like Podio, for example. I didn't like, kind of the way you kind of teach it now is grab Mojo. You can basically have your CRM inside of Mojo until you get a couple deals under your belt to start paying for a CRM. Podio is obviously very cheap, but you don't need the bells and whistles that these CRMs have, which by the way cost, I don't know what's the go high level telling now, like $200 a month?
I don't even know.
I know you pay like close to $200 a month for your system, but you make all money, so it's okay. But like for me, like I can't spend $300 on a CRM every month. Like all that matters is that it's going to tell me when to follow up.
Exactly.
What's the temperature of the lead?
Exactly.
And some notes.
Yep. That's all.
Address and name. That's it. That's literally all you need. Name, address, notes, a date to follow up. That's it. That's all you need.
Yep. I say that all the time. A CRM is really just something that should remind you who you need to call that day.
Yeah. And like you can get into drip campaign. I'm not even doing drip campaigns yet. Yeah. But like you can get into all those bells and whistles. But like I can say like where we're at revenue wise, I have yet to do a single automated follow up.
Right. Because you don't have to. If you have a system that works, once you build out a whole company, like some of the automations and some of those things, they're nice. I'm not saying that we have a pretty robust CRM, but this wasn't something I had worried about until I had done a bunch of deals. And a lot of people, they get so caught in the weeds of, I need this CRM, or I got to have all this sort of stuff set up. I got to have my LLC, my logo.
Who's my buyer?
Exactly. They got to figure out who the buyer is. They find all these reasons why they need to do something else before they talk to a seller. And like nothing else happens until you talk to a seller. I didn't have an LLC for my first like 4 deals. I was just signing contracts under my personal name because I knew that nothing mattered. Like, why am I going to spend whatever it is, $250 on an LLC? Why am I going to do all of this? Go to a bank, have to get a bank account set up, do all this different stuff that's going to keep me off the phones with sellers. Let me get on the phone with sellers, start making some money, and then I'll deal with this after.
Yeah. And you and I talk about it all the time. One of my favorite things about my business now are my joint ventures. Like, I think one of the reasons we've had a lot of success this year is I think I've sold 4. We've done 20 deals so far. I've sold 4 of them myself. The rest of them have been JVs. And in January, I know you and I did a small JV deal that if you guys didn't sell it to that one buyer that's going to pay more than everybody else, or they buy it as a rental instead of a flip, I wouldn't have found the easy $15K deal that I sold myself, that the whole transaction from the lead coming in to finding the buyer, 2.5, 3 hours. like if I was out here cold calling buyers all day, I would have made 7 instead of the almost 20.
Yep.
So, and I Dispo's own thing. All the money's made when you get the contract, and I love talking to sellers too much to I'll get down that rabbit hole eventually, but
eventually.
right now it's
Again, I mean, it all goes
it's
back.
a bottleneck for trying to if you try to do both at once, it's a bottleneck.
100%.
Plus making money with your friends,
a lot more fun that way.
The bomb.
No, you're absolutely right with that. I mean, a lot of people, and it all comes back to the one thing. It all comes back to there's a bunch of different things that you can do. And if you're going to build out a business, then yes, it makes sense to start, building your own buyers list and start dispoing your deals yourself as you're building consistency. And you're not in a position where you have to be on the phone with sellers every day to still get contracts, right? That's
Bingo.
once you've started delegating stuff to where you don't have to make the cold calls, you don't have to make all the follow-ups, to where you can start worrying about deals. Because a lot of people, they'll work and they'll finally get a deal under contract, and then they turn off the marketing, they stop talking to sellers, and they say, I got to go sell this deal, I got to go talk to buyers. And then they find out either A, they locked it up too high, or there's title issues, or there's some kind of other problem where 2-3 weeks go by, they have to cancel that deal, and then they look up and they're like, man, I have nothing, because I haven't been talking to sellers for the last 2 weeks. So you go back to the one thing of, could I maybe make a little bit more on this deal if I went and dispoed it myself, if I found a buyer? Sure. Or I could focus on the one thing, give this contract to somebody that has a buyer's list, and go find the next deal. Because like you said, you get paid when you buy, not when you sell. And for us, it's you get paid when you put a property under contract at a great price, not when you go find that one person willing to way overpay for it.
Bingo. And I know if I'm where I was at a year ago, or maybe some similar people in that boat, like they could hear that and go, oh, that's a money grab. Like people just want them to do deals with you. They just want to get paid, or maybe their acquisition channel is not so hot. They got a nice buyer's list. They want some help. Like business is tough. Like I think a lot of people can hear that. I know from my experience, totally not the case. And we'd probably be like maybe half the revenue this year if I was trying to sell every deal. And probably worked a lot more. Like now I work 4 or 5 hour days for the most part. Like if I was trying to find every buyer and make half the amount, I probably would have been working 8-9 hour days.
Exactly. And that's what I did for my first probably 10 or 15 deals. Was I JV'd them all as well, because I knew that my money is made when I'm on the phone with sellers, and I don't know buyers yet, and I also know that's a whole other song and dance that you have to deal with on the buyer side. So let me stay in my lane and start just stacking up these contracts and let somebody else sell them, because that builds really good relationships. That helps you understand what's a deal and what's not a lot faster, because you're getting feedback from somebody that has an extensive buyers list versus you trying to go to RIA meetings and trying to sell your deal that way, stuff like that. And it just allows you to focus on what pays you, which is talking to sellers. We even on the course I got a call from a buyer that he was going to go walk a property of ours, and I, like how you explained it, like I was speaking to him like I was talking to a seller. He came back with a price that was lower than my contract and was trying to explain why his offer was what it was, and I was like, oh, I get it. The property is not this, that, and the other, just, like, let me know where you're going to be. And you were like, no, it's the opposite. Like, the way you handle buyers is the complete opposite of sellers. So, like, I didn't think about that yet. I need to just be like, let me know where you're at. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. No big deal. Instead of entertaining them. But when I'm talking, like, to most sellers, I have to, like, explain to them why we are where we are. I got to explain the market to them. I got to explain how much stuff costs. 2 different businesses. 100%. But if you that's the cool thing, is that, like, yes, it is at 2 like different businesses, or 2 totally different sides of the business, but you don't have to master them both to make money, to make a lot of money too. Like, you can just focus on acquisition. Some people only focus on dispositions, like Orlando, who was the person that I JV'd all of my deals with when I was getting started, who's now actually our dispositions manager.
Shout out O-Town.
Shout out to Orlando. He's the man. But he never talks to sellers. He only does the dispo side of it. He's never really talked to sellers, because every wholesaling company he's worked with, he's just dispoed deals. So it's like, you can just get really good at one of them. Obviously, we teach the direct to seller acquisition side of things, because I think that that's the most scalable, profitable.
Got more ways to go with
skill set. Exactly. Because if you're selling deals, then you're always dependent on somebody bringing you that deal to sell. But you don't have to do that, because you know how to go find it. And that's the most important part. None of this, all these deals, like, nothing happens unless you find that seller. And that's the whole art of what we're trying to do is
Bingo.
consistently and scalably find that seller and solve their problems.
I think it might have been in your Brett Daniels podcast, but I think the phrase is in there. You know, once you learn how to find motivated sellers, you'll never go hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can, yeah, exactly. I think that's something that Brent said to me was, you just get really good at finding motivated sellers. You'll never have to worry about money. So, all right, let's talk about like daily habits. So I know you just mentioned that you really only probably work like 4 or 5 hours a day, which, by the way, shout out, you're 24 years old, only working 4 or 5 hours a day.
Let's roll.
After a year in the business, that's not too bad. But let's talk about like what your daily schedule was like when you first got started, when you were in that grind phase. Because I think a lot of people, they come in, they either come into wholesaling or even into the community that we have, and they think that, I'm going to give them some kind of like magic script or some kind of like magic list that they're just going to be able to just all of a sudden just start pulling these motivated sellers out of nowhere, which obviously that isn't the case. It's just putting in a lot of work, directed work with a support system. But like, let's talk about your daily routine when you are in that grinding phase, because I think a lot of people don't appreciate or understand how much work needs to go into that to get to the point that you're at right now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people when they come in, the question you probably get most often is, Nick, once I pay you this initiation fee and I join the community, how long until I do my first deal?
Yeah.
Right? Which, I mean, it's a fair question. Like, you're making an investment. For me, I can say that from the time I did that till my first closing that I saw was 30 days. But I was also hanging out with you 60, 70, 80 days before that. Mm-hmm. So that period, even before I was in the program and just listening to whatever you had to say, I would get my 50 no's a day. I would be on Mojo with my poor contact rate at the time, getting my 50 no's a day, which now I know could probably take me 3-4 hours to get 50 no's. Back then it took me like 7-8 hours to get 50 no's. But staying the course in that, I knew that if I got my 50 no's a day, that I would eventually compile enough leads to do deals and eventually unbox scaling my team.
Cool. Yeah, that's, at the end of the day, volume.
Yeah, that's all. I think you told me to get a Post-it note and mark every time I got a no, and then I just did that for an extended period of time.
Perfect. Something
I love now, and I almost appreciate time more now, but in my previous corporate setting, and like you worked, you bar back, or you were a bartender before, so like you probably stared at the clock a lot. And I remember when I left my job, like it was, at your desk by 8 o'clock, I got an hour for lunch, and then we were out at 5:30-ish. And I remember like the clock's right there on your computer. I was looking at that thing all day.
Yeah.
Now, I've pretty much trained my mind. Like, I love what I do. I don't really look at the clock. Like, I'll see, okay, oh shoot, like it's 6-7 o'clock. Probably can't really be calling a homeowner at 8.
But you're like, oh wow, the day has already gone by. Versus oh man, it's only 10. I still have 2 more hours to my lunch break.
Yeah. I mean, and I know for a fact I work way less than I did at my old job. But I'm not worried about what time it is.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite parts. Is like, I don't worry that, okay, it's 1 o'clock now. I just got to get through these next 4 hours, and then I can take my hour drive home.
Yeah.
And then get home, eat, go to the gym, quickly go to bed so I can wake up and like go to work tomorrow. Like, it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if the business model is so cool that you don't need to. In the beginning, like you should be working 8-9 hour days to like get the ball rolling as soon as possible. But once you've built momentum, I don't think I could probably still be working 8-9 hour days if I wanted to. Like, I know for a fact we're gonna keep scaling, and just like once you figure it out, you're gonna pass it along to me. One of the best parts, I say it all the time. Like, I don't know, Nick's gonna figure it out, and then let me know. I don't know.
There you go.
Until then, like I don't need to. That's one of my favorite parts, which has allowed me to spend so much more time with my family. Like I told you, one of the most important things to me is hanging out with my dad, hanging out with my mom. Like, my mom's got surgery coming up soon, and I'm gonna be able to just leave and just go to Jacksonville and hang out with her. And then we just came back from a hunting trip in South Dakota that my dad came on. Like, that's the stuff that I wouldn't have been able to do beforehand.
Yeah.
Cool.
I remember you texted me, I think it was it you were doing deals in March? I remember you texted me at some point because you took your dad to a Michigan State basketball game or something.
Yeah, we went to We went March Madness. We went to Elite Eight.
That's what it was.
Michigan State versus Auburn. I'd probably text you something along the lines of like, dude, this is so cool. Like, would never been able to do this before.
Yeah. Well, you
know?
said something like a couple months ago. I was getting ready to start working like as a cart guy.
Cart
like,
barn, yeah.
Cart barn. And like now I'm doing this. Like just thank you.
Yeah.
Some along the lines of that. But I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
And
you probably get one of those like every 2 months or so. You still get those.
yeah, it's cool though because it's like, I mean, like you said, it's a business that once you have it systematized a little bit and you have KPIs that you're measuring rather than just throwing stuff at the wall every day, it allows you to not have to work all day every day and just continue throwing stuff at the wall because you know if you get this amount of conversations, it's going to produce this amount of leads so that you can just focus on the highest priority of tasks because you're not cold calling anymore yourself, right?
No, I haven't consistently cold called since January.
Yeah.
Maybe I got on the phone a little bit in July, but like for 4 or 5 hours total.
Yeah. Let's talk about your team a little bit. What's your team look like?
Yeah, so right now we have 5 virtual assistants. One of them is in Egypt, and the other 4 are in the Philippines. I made some hires like November, October last year, and I hired like the virtual assistant company. Like I outfitted my team, kind of thing. Which at the time, like it served a purpose. It like got me rolling faster, if you will, because like I didn't have to train them. I could still do my own thing. Which we'll get. I guess that can be like a separate topic. Is like that whole thing of your marketing outhouse versus your marketing in-house. But now my team is starting to have its own identity, its own chemistry. My team lead, my team manager, his name's Anthony. He's taken the team by storm. Like he's came in, shown that he's an overachiever, that he's ready for leadership, and he's taking responsibilities off me. So obviously he's going to get paid more.
Yeah. He's crushing it.
And he's creating opportunities for other people around him. Like the way his commission's reflected goes that way. And we have a pretty good relationship now. Like we talk a lot of things outside of business.
Isn't it cool to be able to provide an opportunity like that to somebody across the world?
Yeah, it's really like I get videos all the time. Like they're at church service, or I think I got a picture from Anthony a couple weeks ago, and he like bought coffee for like his entire family, which was like 15 people or something like that. And like it's cool because you don't get to like see them like you would in the States. They're like somebody that you can like see eye to eye. And the culture is just so different there. But like I wouldn't be able to do what I did I can't pay 4 or 5 Americans right now an American livable salary.
Right.
But you're providing an incredible opportunity for somebody overseas where the job market is not hot, and they're able to make. I know when Anthony and I were talking about, I think we had this conversation a couple weeks ago. Like, what are your financial goals? Like, where do you want this to go? And I'm going to do everything in my power to make that happen. And he was telling me like the average Filipino like politician salary is like $1,750. $1,750 American for your politician salary. And I think last month or 2 months ago, he made that. So our goal is to make him make that plus more every month. Yeah. And he's going to be able to provide for he's going to create generational wealth for his family just by doing that.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And the way he got hired is pretty cool. I made a post on onlinejobs.ph and ended up going in a different direction and hiring out my team outhouse. And I went back to online jobs, and Anthony like messaged me every 2 weeks and was like, hey man, like I wasn't logged in, I wasn't seeing these messages. He's like, hey man, are you still looking for somebody to join your team? Hey man, like consistent, knocking on the door. And it's paid out big time. It's it'll probably be one of my best hires ever. He's the man.
He's crushing it. He's making Instagram videos.
Yeah, he's making Instagram videos
about being
he's known around
virtual
Anthony,
assistant.
You're known around town, man. Like I brag about you all the time.
Yeah, keep up the good work, Anthony. For sure, man. You're crushing it. No doubt. Cool. All right. Oh, one thing that I did mean to touch on that we kind of went over was the 50 no's a day. A lot of people, they think success is, and this is kind of a big mindset shift that I had, and for anybody that's listening, if you're in Nate's position a year ago, a lot of people, and I actually was just having this conversation with Aman, another one of our community members, just a couple weeks ago. sometimes you have to redefine what success is when you're first getting started, because a lot of people think like success is getting a contract or getting a deal. And if your only metrics of success is actually getting that contract, then you're going to miss out on a lot of the little wins along the way, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to give up.
Oh yeah.
Whereas if you shift your focus to where, like when I first got it started, when I was making my calls in late 2020, early 2021, I wasn't measuring. I wasn't thinking like I'm going to get a contract today, or I'm going to set an appointment today, or I'm going to get a lead today. It was just, I'm going to have 50 people tell me no every single day, because I know that if I do that over the course of weeks, months, like it's absolutely inevitable that I'm going to start getting deals. And it also allowed me to go to bed every day thinking like, yep, got my 50 contacts, like today's a win, check it off the box, and like let's get back at it tomorrow. Versus if your only metric of success is getting a contract, then you're going to wake up every single day that you don't get a contract, you're going to go to bed thinking that you failed that day.
Yeah.
So especially at the very beginning, I think especially your first 45 days, like you can't measure success off of like a contract or like a direct result. It's got to be, I had a really good qualifying conversation with a seller, identified a really good lead, or like I said, if you're not even at that point yet to where you are identifying leads and talking to sellers, like quality sellers, to where you've been able to identify exactly what a lead is, then just celebrate getting 50 no's every day. Celebrate having 50 people tell you no every single day, because you're building up I don't know what
muscle
word I'm
memory.
thinking. You're building up the muscle memory. You're building up the tolerance of being rejected and having people tell you to go kill yourself or go get a real job
All
or
sorts of stuff.
do all that sort of stuff. Like that can be pretty draining for somebody at the beginning. But if you're thinking, if you're having the mindset of I need to get a deal, and then you start having those people tell you that you're a parasite, or you need to go get a real job, or they tell you that you suck and should go kill yourself. If you're only thinking, especially if you're maybe like 2 or 3 weeks in and you haven't got a deal yet, and then you start hearing that, you're like, man, maybe this isn't for me. Like maybe I can't do this. Maybe I am a parasite. But it's like, that's because you're only measuring success off of getting a deal, where especially in your first month or two, can happen, pretty unlikely. Shouldn't even say pretty unlikely, but you shouldn't expect it. And then anything less than that is failure, because you're setting yourself up for failure. Whereas if you have your mindset is, I'm just going to have as many quality conversations, for me it was 50 a day, every single day, that's a win. And eventually those little wins are going to stack into more and more, and then you start doing deals.
Bingo. I think right now where I'm at in my business, one of my favorite things is the win of disqualifying a lead that's in my system. Like I get more,
and a lot of people don't see that as a win.
I get more gratification by marking a lead dead than qualifying a cold / warm-ish lead. Like to me, that's a bigger win, because like as you talk about all the time, or where a lot of wholesalers go wrong is they spend a lot of time with leads that are never going to sell to them, or never sell at wholesale price, or et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and you can spend all day talking to those sellers and think that you're, being productive, but you're really not, because you're just talking to a bunch of people that have no interest in what you have to offer them.
They have brand new construction and they want to sell for $100K over ARV, and here you are trying to convince them to sell for wholesale price. Like,
exactly.
It's never going to happen.
Got to identify, like we said before, an ugly house and a problem. Yes, sir. All right. Let's get into the HUDs here. Obviously, we are HUD Up or Shut Up, so we have the HUDs here prepared. We're going to...
this is not fake news.
We're gonna have these like linked in the video. There'll be a link to be able to go check these out. So these are actual closing statements from the deals that we're about to talk about. Nate's got a couple of different deals that we're gonna break down, and here's the receipts for it. So this is why this show is called HUD Up or Shut Up. There's a lot of people out there that are talking based off of just theory that aren't even closing deals. So we're gonna do it a little bit different here. So if you're gonna talk about a deal, you gotta have a HUD for it. So
bingo.
All right, cool. Well, let's get into it. So I wanted you to pick out one of these, and here you can figure out which one of them it is that you want to go over. But
sweet.
I wanted you to talk about the one deal that represents like when things started clicking for you. Well, it doesn't have to be that. Either when things started clicking for you, or when you just realized like, man, this is life changing.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab the deal. We started talking about Baird Street a little bit.
Let's do it. I like Baird. I made a good amount of money on Baird.
Yeah, you made a good amount of money on Baird. The other two, Nick told me to pull one. I pulled three. I pulled the one that made me not go broke and realized that I it's almost like I went from unemployed to employed on that job or on that deal. Yeah. And then I pulled our largest fee at 36. It's not, other people got bigger ones. It's my biggest one. I'm prideful about it. I love it.
That's still a lot of
mine,
people's salary. You get an entire salary wired to you in one day. It's not too bad.
And that was one of our easiest deals. We locked that one up at their asking price. And that only happens because we talk to so many people now. Like it could happen. Like somebody's first deal could be they talk to that seller where they're asking hey, I know I am asking for less money than my house is worth. I just want no headache closing, that sort of thing. And that deal is actually really cool. If we have time, that'd be a cool one to break down.
I want to pause right there because that's something really, really big that you just mentioned there was like the only reason you get those deals where you can lock it up at the seller's asking price and make $36,000 on it is because you're talking to people every single day. Like there's a lot of people that they're like, all right, I'm going to try out cold calling. I'm going to start looking for real estate deals. They call for a day or two and they don't get one of those. And they're like, man, this doesn't work. Cold calling is dead, right? It doesn't work. Can promise you it works. You just have to talk to a lot of people, and you come across those opportunities by being in the market every single day and taking action. I think I don't know. I don't know who the credit should go to on this, but I remember hearing that the deal of a lifetime comes by once a week. Most people just aren't looking for it. So
bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yes,
I definitely love those leads. I get fired up when those leads come into the system. But
cool. All right, let's talk about this one. Where did the lead come from? I'm gonna guess cold calling.
So this is a Sarasota tired landlord.
Okay.
I feel like most times tired landlord pulls from PropStream. The person you end up doing the deal with is not actually a landlord. They've inherited the property and they own it in their name now. I think they did probate.
Yeah.
And the owner's name is now in what's on the deed is their personal name.
Yeah.
So because they own a home in their case, I think Illinois, and now they officially own a home in Sarasota, Florida, they're gonna pull up as a tired landlord that has equity. The parameters we pull around the list, like they're gonna fall in there, and they're not even a landlord, but most of the times I feel like those are the people you do deals with.
Yeah.
The inherited
accidental
property
landlords. They either inherit the property or like they lived in this house and then they moved and they decided to try to rent this house out and then it didn't go well, something like that. Which, by the way, he's talking about PropStream, which PropStream is where we pull all of our lists that we go to cold call on. You can also look up property information. You can run comps and do all that sort of stuff. I've been using PropStream since I first got started in this business, and I'll link in the description in this video. You can actually get a full access free trial using that link. I think the regular link doesn't give you full access to the entire platform, but if you use the link in this video, you'll actually get a 7-day free trial, and you can use the entire platform. So go ahead.
Side note to that, and because we've had multiple people come in and they're like, PropStream? Really? Like that's what you're using as PropStream? We're like, yeah. Like it's
again,
we keep it so simple.
Yeah. People think there's some like magic system.
There's no golden nugget that you hear and all of a sudden you're just like, deals.
Yeah.
Like it's the easy stuff. So yeah. I think the lead came in November, December. We had a pretty quick qualifying call. There wasn't a whole lot going on.
Okay.
I remember I ballparked her, hey, we're probably somewhere around like 190 to 210 depending on condition. And I think I marked her as a warm or cold follow-up, and then I followed up at the beginning of the year and was just like, hey, because she wanted to talk after Christmas. That was her big thing. It's like, hey, if I'm going to be with all my family, like we'll kind of make a decision what we want to do. Like we're not sure if we want to make it our winter house yet because it was in the family. Like it's important to us, that sort of thing. And then called her after Christmas or beginning of the year. She said, Nate, I'm open to selling. And what was really cool about this lead is that I caught her and built rapport at a time that I can confidently say that she was not entertaining any other buyer. She didn't care.
It's always a good feeling.
She didn't want to work with a bunch of people. She wanted to work with one person to solve her problem.
She was a motivated seller that valued speed, convenience, and trust over getting the most she could possibly get.
And it's not that this seller didn't have, like, she wasn't financially broke and didn't have the capacity to take care of the property. She just inherited it, lived 1,500 miles away, and had bigger things going on in her life than fixing up this house in Sarasota, Florida. She has kids. She has a full-time job. She's a wife. She has a husband. She's got I think she had grandkids too. Like there are just bigger things going on in her life than flipping a house in Sarasota, Florida remotely,
Yep.
you know? So I actually went to Sarasota on an appointment for a different seller and like same zip code. And that appointment ended up not working out. We were like $20K off the whole time, and like I still can't get a hold of him to this day after going face to face to him.
Gotta
So
love
I mean
that.
that kind of thing happens. But I called Ann while I was down there, and I was like, "Hey Ann, I'm actually like really close by to the property. Like, can I go walk it?" And she was like, "Yeah, absolutely. It's locked, but you can get in the backyard and all that stuff." Long story short, you couldn't even get in the backyard. The overgrowth was so
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
But
That's when you know you got a good deal.
yeah, exactly right. Like that haunted house on the street kind of thing.
Kind of afraid to go into it a little bit.
Yeah, a little. I mean, it was one of my first times going in a property like that. You know, you're waiting for a crackhead to pop out of a closet.
Exactly.
You know.
Yep.
But no, long story short, like got some pictures of the outside. I think I sent it to you or Orlando and was like, hey, like, what do you guys think about this, like ballpark and price wise? And I think you guys said dispo 200, 205 or something like that. And I talked to Ann and she was like, yeah, just shoot me an email with whatever you got. And I was kind of like, oh, like shoot me an email,
Yeah,
like
that's
really?
never good.
And so I shot her an email and explained where my price was, where it was at, and was like, this is what our plan is. You know, I think this is where rehab number sells, and you know, she agreed to all that kind of thing. And then she just replied back and was like, yeah, let's do it. What are the next steps? And then I called you and I was like, dude, I'm floating.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. I think I was on my way. I don't know what I was on my. I don't know what I think it might have been like a Radiant RYA night or something like that. I was like on the way to that or something crazy. But yeah, that was pretty much just there. I JV'd this deal because you know this deal led to like our seller finance deal. If I was trying to sell this deal, I never would have found our 0% seller finance deal. But you guys JV'd it. I think you guys sold it in like 24 hours at 206, and nice. What we got here? Check the HUD
Yeah,
ourselves.
I was gonna say let's check the receipt.
This is 12,250 in both directions, so
12,250, so 25,000.
So $12,250 each, so like almost a 25K fee.
Yeah, just I don't know. I'm bad at mental math, but yeah, around there, 25K.
Yeah, dude, investors can't do math. That's the calculator app is for.
That's it.
Yeah.
The teachers always said that we wouldn't have a calculator on us at all times, so we had to learn
bingo,
mental math, and now they're all here. But yeah, awesome, man. So that's cool. That's 36,000. That's not a bad chunk of change, especially when that's almost.
This one's 20. This one's 25. That other one in there was 36.
That okay.
Yeah.
Can't get it mixed up.
Gotta get the HUD right.
Gotta get the HUDs right. Of course.
Gotta get the HUD right.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay. Cool. Yeah, man. Well, that's a very cool story. So obviously, let's break it down. So the seller's problem, and again, we talk about ugly houses and problems. It's not necessarily like a problem isn't always going to be like I'm losing the house in 2 weeks to foreclosure, or I just lost my job, or somebody died, or the house burned down, right? That's not always, it doesn't have to be a story or a problem like this. Like Nate said, his seller wasn't necessarily like super pressed for cash, but she lived 1,500 miles away and she had a house that she inherited that she didn't want to deal with fixing the house up, right? So when we're talking about a story in an ugly house, that's a way that I like to have people in the community filter the people that they're talking with, because there's a big difference between somebody saying like, yeah, I want to sell my house because of I live 1,500 miles away and I can't deal with it as a rental and I inherited it, versus somebody that says everything's for sale for the right price.
Yeah.
Give me an offer and let's see what we can do. Or you called me. Yeah, I want to sell. What's your offer? You called me. I'm not going to tell you anything about the house.
Yeah.
Do your homework and give me a call back, right? Like, the problem doesn't always necessarily have to be this huge catastrophic, issue. It just has to be a reason why somebody might consider or value the speed and convenience that we can offer over getting the most that they possibly can for the property. And if somebody responds to your question of why do you want to sell, and they say, because you called me, because everything's for sale for the right price, most likely they're not going to be somebody that is going to value the speed and convenience that we can offer.
Yeah. Bingo.
Yeah.
It like the phrase I use with homeowners all the time, and I get more comfortable because like at first it's like I don't want to tell them I'm gonna like lowball them. Like I don't want to tell them my offer is gonna be low. But those are the people you want to be working with. You tell them, hey, my value is being your easy button.
Yeah.
I will not be your highest offer.
Yep.
But I can guarantee a smooth and fast, easy closing to where you're not gonna have to lift a finger. The hardest thing you're gonna have to do is sign when the notary comes to your house.
Paperwork. Yeah,
that's it.
That's the most complicated part of the process is meeting the notary. And you're right. I mean, if you go to our website, it literally says that on our website. We may not be your highest bid, but we are your best offer because we, provide a seller-first solution. We make it a hassle-free, hands-off experience. So again, the people that we're going to work with are the people that are going to value that, not the people that want the best price that they can possibly get. They need to put their house on the market.
Which you can segment into a conversation about realtors. We spend our time with 6% of the market. Is that the stat?
4 to 6%.
So like, I tell people to go talk to an agent all day. Like, hey, I can refer you to a couple that I personally use that I like. It's like if they tell you, I have new white shaker cabinets. I just put a roof on. I just redid the floors. Like, okay, awesome. I'm probably not the best fit for you. I'm looking for something that we can, fix up, put some sweat equity into.
And a lot of people, they think that if they say that, they're like, well, I don't want to lose this lead. I don't want them to think that I'm lowball. And this goes back to what you just said a minute ago. It's like, those are the people that you want to talk with, because if you give them that lowball offer, and they still want to talk to you, then you have a good opportunity there, right? It's I had another thought that I'm blanking on right now, but this is what it was. Yeah. So, and it goes back to what you saying, like with realtors, one of the best questions that we ask people, and one of the first things that we tell people is like, hey, if you want to get the most that you can possibly get for this house, you should hire a realtor. They're the best. That's the best way to get the highest price. But that's going to come with, some things. You're going to have to get the house ready for market. You're going to have to deal with inspections, appraisals, all this sort of stuff. They're going to come do a whole inspection and pick your house apart with a fine-tooth comb. You're going to have to deal with financing issues, appraisals, all these different contingencies. And a lot of the time you're not going to close for, 60, 90, 120 days in some cases. But that's going to be the best way to get the price that you want. But the value that we provide is we make things really easy. We're like hitting the easy button for selling your house, right? And if you have that conversation with a homeowner and they still want to talk to you, that's probably a pretty good opportunity, right? And on the other side, if they say, oh, no, well, I would never do that. I want the best offer that I can possibly get for this house. I think it's sitting on a gold mine, right? Like, then great. You just had that conversation. You were able to disqualify that lead without going and running a bunch of comps and going out on an appointment to go see that seller and wasting a bunch of time. You have that conversation. You're not losing that lead. You're freeing up your time to go talk to actual leads.
Bingo. Yeah. That's simple as that. Yeah. It's crazy. And I think like the more comfortable you get saying that, like we cannot provide value to the people that want the most amount of money possible. Like that's what realtors are for.
That's what realtors are for.
So
we serve the rough statistics are in any real estate market, there's about 4 to 6% of the houses that are considered in distress, meaning, either they need a bunch of work, they're sitting vacant, there's code violations, liens, or the seller is just in a situation where they're distressed, right? But that's only going to be 4 to 6% of the market. The rest of the market, they're going to list on the market with an agent. They're going to put the house on the MLS and get the best price that they can, because why wouldn't they? They don't have any problems that they need to sacrifice potential equity for the speed and convenience of a cash offer. So cool. All right, sweet. So we broke down that was the Baird deal?
That was Baird deal, yeah.
All right, what's the other one that you want to break down?
Let's do Huntington Forest, because I just think the like deal structure is pretty cool on this one.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Like I haven't, like this is one of my first deals that I've done some other ones, but I don't think we had as many moving pieces as this one.
Okay.
So this is 4085 Huntington Forest. This was a Q3 deal. We ended up making 36 on it. We called. I remember I was in Michigan when we got this deal. I was working in my aunt's basement because I was there hanging out. I just golfed that day. I played Eagle Eye Golf Club in Lansing, Michigan that morning. And then I came back and worked on some leads. And I think I want to say on her lead card is what we call them. All of our team, they put out the 4 pillars, and they usually have like a paragraph, and then we do the 4 pillars for even if they don't get them, they'll still just put it on so we can just know we're always looking for the 4 pillars.
Yeah.
In her 4 pillars was her $130 asking price.
What are the 4 pillars? Break those down real quick.
So most importantly, condition, timeline, motivation, asking price. Condition is arguably the most important one. If they have a house that doesn't need work, they're not for you. You can't provide them any value
unless they have a serious problem.
Unless the problem has nothing to do with the house and it's like a personal thing.
Exactly.
They need to sell it tomorrow.
Yes.
but at that same time, like how many houses I mean, you guys have probably wholesaled a handful.
Yeah.
Like the odds of there being when you're first starting out, that's not the thing you're looking for.
Yeah.
You know, like
100%.
like I've seen it, we've seen it. Like somebody's first deal is that kind of turnkey house that's super easy, but the odds of it happening to somebody super duper low.
Yep.
So we got condition, most important part, and we're not looking for good, fair. We're looking for something that like it needs some work.
Yeah.
WORK work.
Yeah.
Right. So we got condition. Timeline. Do they have a reasonable timeline or some idea of like when they're looking to sell the house? And timeline and motivation get paired together. That's what we teach in our team. That's what we teach in the program. Is usually when you ask timeline, you're gonna get motivation. And we don't want to ask what is your motivation for selling the property. We're looking for that story. Is what we're really looking for. So in this case, if we go back to the HUD, Huntington Forest, our seller, Jesse and Becky, they wanted to move to Arkansas. That was their big thing. Was like we want to move our family to Arkansas. We want like an acre or two. Like they didn't care where it was. Like they just wanted something in the middle of nowhere where they can raise their family, have some land.
Yeah.
Jesse is in the semi-truck business, so they want land to park this truck there while he's not working. And their house they had in Jacksonville needed a lot of work, and they pushed the button of, I would rather sell my house easy and fast and for less money because what I really want is this other property in Arkansas that I think costs $65,000 or something along those lines, right? So condition, motivation, timeline. So for her, their timeline was like right away. They were ready to sign. This was a one-call close. Their asking price was a nice fee, and it was a one-call close. And I said, Becky, I can probably do 130. Is there anything preventing you from moving forward? She said, no, but I would like to, I need somewhere to move. I want to move to Arkansas. I want to move somewhere out of Florida. Yeah. And I said, okay, great. And this is the cool part of the deal is where this happens. As I say, okay, Becky, no problem. How about this? We'll put it in the agreement. We'll do a 90-day on or before closing. And if for some reason, because I knew it's a deal, if for some reason we can't find you that next property, we'll just kick the closing back. No big deal. I'm not going to force you. Like, you know where I live, like, all the things, you've met me, like, I'm not going to force you to sell your house and force you to live to nowhere. But I said, hey, simplest thing we could probably do is say, we'll do an honored before 90-day closing. That gives us plenty of time for you to find a new house. And her parameters, she also had a very strong parameters what she was looking for. She had no idea where she wanted to live. She gave me like 5 states. She was like, I want to buy a house in one of these 5 states, and like this is what I want.
Not picky.
She was not picky. She was a pleasure to work with, and we signed the agreement at 1:30 with the asterisk of on or before 90-day closing. Yeah. And I started hunting around for a property for her. Like I wasn't trying to be a realtor. Like I think in North Carolina, I think we actually had a realtor start looking for some stuff. Okay. But eventually she narrowed it down to like this one city, and I was just like sending her stuff, and I said, hey, no worries. Like I can tell you what I think about it versus like what their asking price is, because a lot of people like your asking price is $200 on the market, like it's probably not worth $100. So like I can give you some pointers there. And long story short, she found that property and said, hey, no worries, we'll be able to double close on it, no problem. You won't even have to move the money to that title company. We're gonna get in touch with the title company and take care of all of that for you. And so long story short, I did this deal with New Western in Jacksonville. Shout out Anna and John Messick. Moved it pretty quickly. Nice fee for us. And then on closing day, because our buyer was closing vacant at close, and our sellers, Becky, they thought that they could stay in the property 30 days post closing. I don't know if that was but that could have been me maybe not explaining it the best way. Yeah. Like obviously we know that's just like not how it works. Like closing day is closing day. Yeah. Like you don't buy a car and then like after you buy it, you leave it at the dealership for 30 days. Like that's not how it works. Right. Right. So on closing day, like this is the beauty of like having a nice fee and like doing your job up front, is that I said, no problem. I'll get you a hotel room tonight. I think we ended up getting them a hotel room in Orange Park, Florida, and they stayed the night there, and then they left to Arkansas the next morning. We closed on their property Tuesday morning, and then they closed Tuesday afternoon on the Arkansas property or something to that effect. And it was one of the easiest deals ever.
Yeah. Dude, that's some problem solving there though. And I mean, that goes to show like that right there is why a seller would sell to somebody like you and me instead of putting the house on the market with an agent and waiting for the right buyer, because you just helped her with so many different things all in one. She might not have got the best price that she could possibly get for the house, but you gave her a flexible closing where she was able to go find a new house. You helped her find that house. You put money up for her to go and have a hotel room, which not many people are doing that, especially not your average real estate agent. They're not A, buying your house, B, or bringing a buyer to your house. They're not buying your house, helping you set up a new house in a different state, coordinating all the title stuff. I mean, agents do all this, but you're doing all of this and you're buying the house, right? You're buying the house and you're setting all this stuff up. And oh, hey, problem comes up, misunderstanding during escrow, no problem. Here's a hotel room on us, right? And they're super, super appreciative of that.
And that's something I never could have done. Like, for a whole year of wholesaling on my own, the largest fee I ever did was 10.
Yeah.
Like, when the largest fee is 10 and you go months without a deal, like, the moment your seller needs a hotel, you're like, I don't know what to do.
Exactly.
But because you learn how to do these larger fees, you can be more flexible and be that person that can be there for the sellers. You know?
Yeah. I remember there was one time that we had like a 50 or 60K fee on something, and the seller, it came up that he hadn't paid like 2 or 3 years of his taxes, so he had like 15 grand in taxes. And he was freaking out about it and like wanted to cancel the deal, and not like he was genuinely freaking out because he wasn't going to get the money that he needed to like move into his next thing. So he wasn't like trying to cancel the deal, but he was he was freaking out. But we were able to just say, hey man, no worries, we'll cover it. We'll pay these taxes for you, because we had a 50, 60K fee. So it's like, for us, we're still making 35, 40K, but this guy just got a huge weight lifted off of his shoulders. And like, how big is that for, I mean, not only from like a fulfillment standpoint of being able to help people, but like, that, you think he's going to want to refer us to other people?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if this guy specifically had referred us any more sellers, but we've done stuff like that with homeowners where they go and all of a sudden somebody calls us 2 months later, 3 months later, and they're like, hey, I talked to whoever this person was that we closed 2 months ago, and they're like, they said you did really good business and I got a house that I want to sell, right? So it's like, you get good deals, you have the spread to where if something comes up, you're able to solve that problem because you have a spread on your side. If you're doing a bunch of skinny deals and something like that comes up, you kind of got to tell the seller, right?
Yeah,
that's your problem.
Tough stuff.
Tough. But if you have a nice fee on your end because you provided a service to that seller and you did your job of getting a good deal, then you can help out in those kind of ways. And when you do that mid-transaction, when the seller knows that you don't have to, like, that's what this business is all about. You're solving those kind of problems. The seller walks away super happy. Like, the amount of times that we've had deals where like a seller calls us or texts us after, like, saying, thank you guys so much, you helped me out in like one of the darkest periods of my life, and like, they're so thankful. And it's like, thank you, we made 40 grand off of this, we made 50 grand off of this. But like, they're super, super, super appreciative because, again, the people that we're working with, they're not people that are like, I need to absolute max out the price that I get for this. I can't sell for less than my neighbor. I have to be the highest price in the neighborhood. Those aren't the people we're working with. We're working with the people that want to hit the easy button. And it doesn't matter. Like, it's not, the biggest thing is getting the highest price. And like, your black and white standard cash transaction is where we normally hang out with. But like, you and I both do short sales. And like, I've been on the phone with a seller who's bawling their eyes out because they didn't think it was possible to sell their house. And like, not to knock on realtors, but most realtors aren't going to know like that part of real estate, like the weird stuff that goes on. And like, luckily, like, we're intertwined with a lot of people in Tampa or Jacksonville that help do those sort of things because your transaction volume's there. You learn a lot of people. One of my favorite things about like the wholesale community that is Tampa is collaborate over competition or competition under collaborate or something to that effect. You had it right the first time. Collaborate over competition.
And so like, everybody's wanting to help everybody out. And so when you get into those short sale, sticky, weird buckets, that you can help sellers out in a way that other people can't.
And the beautiful thing is, you don't even have to know it all yourself. We go back to the one thing, and you know what, I'll clip the one thing in the link description as well, so you can get if you want to go read that book. But it all comes back to the one thing, right? You don't have to know all of these different things like short sales. You don't have to know the process. You don't have to know all this other stuff. All you got to do is go find the seller. You
Bingo.
go find that seller. That's your skill set, is going and finding that seller and communicating with them and building rapport with them. And then you have a team around you that can help with all the problems. Like if there's a probate that needs to be done, we have Al Nicoletti. Shout out Al Nicoletti. He's our probate attorney that we use for all of our deals, but we don't have to understand the whole probate process.
Nope.
We don't have to understand the whole short sale process. We don't have to understand the whole title process. We put a team around us, and then we go find those sellers and solve their problems using our team.
Bingo. And what's cool about the community now is like we're kind of growing to the part where like you bring in a deal to comp on our Tuesday call, and like it's gonna get hit by multiple angles. Like you're gonna look at it, like I'm gonna look at it. We've got Amon's done a bunch of deals. Like he's gonna look at it. You know, Christian, Sarah, you know, they have rentals. It's like you're gonna get at it. It's gonna get hit by multiple angles, and you're gonna see things that maybe you didn't see, or when 8 people are comping in at once, like somebody's gonna find something that you didn't see.
Yep.
You know, so
100%.
like the value that when I started I didn't have that, but like now it's cool that like that's starting to grow out.
Yeah, you get help from not just me, but other people in the community, and people that maybe if they didn't have a deal that they need comped, but they see somebody else send in a lead, and then they see us give feedback on it, even though they didn't directly have that question, they can benefit from it being answered. Right, so it's just
Bingo.
that's a very cool thing. Let's talk about the community a little bit. What so obviously when we first got started, it was just me and you. You were the inaugural first member. What do you think is like? Let's separate like the first couple of months, because that was just me and you. But like where the community is now, what do you think is like? How could you sum up how that could help somebody like where you were last year?
Like, I think what's really cool is like we're all friends. Like that's one of the coolest parts is like I go to your house once or 2-3 times a week, work from your couch. Like, you know, Amon will show up there, Devontae shows up there. And I think like some of the questions people have when they come in is like, how accessible is Nick? Is like, is this something that I join and you know, he talks to me for like a month, but then after that, like he's not accessible anymore. Like I can text you, you respond very quickly. I can show up at your door. Like the door is pretty much always open. Cooper's there. Shout out Cooper, his dog. But that part I like it's not a community that you join. It's not another school community that you join and it's all online. Like we're hanging out all the time, and like not everybody that joins is going to be in Tampa Bay, but they know they're welcome. Yeah. You know, we have people that live about 2.5 hours away, and they still come hang out all the time. So I to like dumb it down, I'd say how like true community it is, not just community in the sense of like a school community. But it's like you're getting a bunch of friends too.
It's not just mentorship and information, but it's also support and, like we talked about, collaboration. You have people that you can work with on deals. A couple of weeks ago, a lot of the people in the community were dealing with contact rate issues, and that was like something that, you know, if you're dealing with that by yourself and it's like, man, all my numbers are flagged as spam, I can't get anybody on the phone. That can be a lot more daunting when you don't have other people that are like, I'm dealing with the same thing. Let's try this. Let's do this. Like, and
the opposite of that, like now we're at the point where I'm getting some healthy competition. For the first 6 months, I was kind of like, I had a head start on everybody. And now we got some people in the group that are like, well, I think they're going to do more revenue than me this month. Like, that's a problem. Like, because like this whole time I'm chasing you, but like chasing a 7-figure earner versus somebody that just is like going to do a little bit over $250,000 this year. That's like, those are two separate businesses. But like now I got people that are like pretty close to where I'm at revenue wise. And it's cool to like have that
little friendly competitions.
Like, well, you got this going on. Okay, well, you know, I got to do this now. And, you know, it's like that healthy, you know, we're going to grow together. Like, I think Amon and I had a conversation about a month ago, because I think he's racking up some deals now. And he was like, you know, the healthy like back and forth between us is fun, but we're gonna chase Nick down. Like we're gonna eventually get to Nick's level. We're all gonna be doing seven figures a year.
I love it.
That sort of thing.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, we'll keep growing together. That's what the community is about. That's why I wanted to. I mean, I started the community. Obviously, we talked about beforehand. You were kind of the one that kind of gave me that final push. But the reason why it was always something that I wanted to do, but wasn't necessarily jumping into, was like, doing deals is great, but eventually it kind of gets a little bit, I don't want to say boring, because I still love doing deals and everything, but it's like you start looking for like, what more is there? And I wanted to build a community of people that we could help. Like I could bring up the next generation of people that are coming up and where I was 5 years ago. So awesome, man. Well, thank you for saying that. Well, cool. Dude, well, I'm super proud of you, man. You didn't try to reinvent the wheel or anything. You came in, you already had the grinding mentality. You were ready to put in the work, and you just needed a roadmap. You needed a blueprint to follow, like we talked about. And obviously, you've changed your life in a very short time.
Yeah,
so
it's been crazy.
You should be very, very proud of yourself, and I'm very proud of you. If you could leave people viewing that are maybe like where you were last year, if you could leave them with like one piece of advice, or if you could go back and talk to Nate in November of 2024, what would you say?
Yeah, it's tough because Nate in November of 2024 was trying to convince you to do this. So I'm not sure I would change anything.
Yeah, fair enough. Then just talk to the people.
So
then.
I mean, what I did is I was just like, dude, like I need help. Like I needed a mentor. Like I feel like you go to these meetups, and everybody always says like, oh, the thing that changed my career was my mentor. And for me, it's no different. Like you're my mentor. I have other mentors, but like my wholesaling mentor is you. Mm-hmm. And if I didn't have that, like I don't, like my business would be nowhere close to where it is right now. So like not like it would be a shout out. Like I would join the program. Like if I knew what I knew now, if I knew where I would be right now, I'd have paid 4 or 5 times, 6 times what I ended up paying.
Yeah.
No question.
Because you were betting on yourself and you knew that you'd be able to get an ROI off of it.
Yeah, exactly. Simple. Super duper simple.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. There's a lot of good mentors out there. You don't have to choose me, obviously, but I will link in the description for the school community if you do want to check that out. So awesome, dude. Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you coming out. Congratulations on all the success. Again, this is just the start. I'm excited to see what 2026 is going to bring for you.
Yeah, this time next year, I mean, that's my goal is, keep growing. We have acquisitions. I don't want to say figured out. There's a lot of people doing a lot more business than us. But that's our goal for next year. Keep going. We're going to do close to 300 this year. My goal for 2026 would be probably cross the 500,000 mark. We're probably 1 or 2 hires and spend a little bit more in marketing. We'll be there.
Right on. I love it, man. Very, very attainable goals.
Bingo.
All right. Well, Nate, thanks a lot, man, for coming on. I appreciate you. That's it for this time, guys. I will catch you on the next episode of HUD Up or Shut Up.